Hey everyone, here are 10 gangster movies you should watch. Number 10, American Gangster. This one follows the story of the rise and fall of Frank Lucas and American Gangster. And this film stars Denzel Washington. This was the first thing that hooked me about this film. Denzel Washington as a gangster, say no more. I was immediately interested in this movie from the get-go. The story of this film is inspired by real life events, and the way Denzel Washington plays this character that is a real person, this real man. His performance is so powerful and complex, and the way he blends the charm of this character and the menace of this character or something that was just done so brilliantly. Sometimes this man is very charming and you are loving what you are seeing, and in the next moment it switches to a very menacing character. And the way Denzel Washington plays those two aspects of this man is nothing short of brilliant. And the dynamic between Denzel Washington's character and Russell Crowe's character. Russell Crowe's character is this cop that is trying to get Frank Lucas, and their dynamic was another thing that added level of depth and brilliance to this film. Their back and forth and their dynamic was explored brilliantly. And speaking of the characters, one thing I liked about them was that they were morally ambiguous characters. Like, they are not completely evil people or they are not completely good people. And that's something that just made their characters very, very realistic and feel like real people, even though they are inspired by real people. But it was something that was just a brilliant choice for the director to make and added so much to this story. And it made me love this story, the characters, and the performances. You have to watch American Gangster. Number 9, Donnie Brasco. This one follows the story of an undercover cop that infiltrates a mob and tries to take them down. And this film stars Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. The collab of Johnny Depp and Al Pacino was something I never thought I was going to get. And their chemistry and their performance together in this film was so brilliant. Like, they were the art of this film, because this film just explores their relationship of this guy that wants to take down this mob, and how he's feeling conflicted because of the relationship he's developing with this gangster. And that's something I just love. The fact that this guy was just having this psychological toll of being an undercover cop, and the relationship he's having with this gangster. So something I really loved, and seeing Johnny Depp's character go through that emotional stress was just fantastic storytelling. And the performance from the two actors, like I already mentioned, their chemistry together, their performance was so good. And not just them, there are other actors in this film that deliver fantastic performances that just heighten the overall greatness of this film. And this film is not as glamorous as other gangster films are. Like, it feels like its own thing. It feels like a fresh take on gangster films, and it was something that just made me appreciate this story even more. Number 8, Gangs of Lagos. This one is a Nigerian film, and I just had to add this film on this list because it's a gangster film, and it's a gangster film that I really, really enjoyed. It follows the story of some children that grow up in a neighborhood and become gangsters, and the performances from this film, whew, brilliant. The direction also was another thing that just captured this world and gave it this gritty and realistic feeling that it had. The storytelling of it was another thing I loved so much. It had this poignant storytelling going on with it, and it got me sometimes, and other times it broke me. The storytelling, the writing, the performances, the direction, a lot of things came together to work for this film. Plus, it has some intense action sequences and some more emotional drama. And I don't know what more you want from a gangster film, but this film has everything, and you should definitely watch it. Number 7, Scarface. Of all the films on this list, I'm sure the main character of this film is the most popular of all. I'm sure a lot of us have heard of Tony Montana or Scarface, and this film is just one marvelous film. It follows the rise and fall of Tony Montana as this big crime lord or drug lord, or all of the above. And this film was just, whew, one hell of a film. The way it was directed had this very stylish and energetic feel to it. Plus, the violence of it was just on another level. Like, I'm still thinking back to the images I saw while watching this film, and it just still scars me, some of the images I saw. Plus, this film has some memorable scenes and some fantastic lines. Like, I shouldn't be sharing this detail, but let me share it. Sometimes when I'm about to have sex, I just go into the room and say hello to my little friend. I don't know why I shared that, but that is how memorable the lines from this film were, and how I quote them in my daily life. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has quoted the "say hello to my little friend" line while in the bedroom. But yes, that's something that just proves the impact of this film and the brilliance of the story, the writing, the dialogue, the performances, everything. If you've not seen Scarface, do yourself a favor and go check it out. Number 6, The Departed. This one follows the story of two cops. One is an undercover cop that has infiltrated the mob, and one is a cop that works for the mob and spies on the cops. That's a very complex plot. It's not too complex, but if you don't understand what I just said, that should prove to you that it's a complex plot. But the story of it was executed brilliantly. The direction by Martin Scorsese, Martin Scorsese is one of those directors that Anytime he shoots a gangster film, it just hooks you, and you know you are watching a fantastic film. Like his direction adds so much to this film. It immerses you, and you are in it. You are intrigued by every step that this film takes. The performances in this film, whew, there are so many actors in this film. It stars actors like Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, and some other actors that I can't even remember. The performances of these actors just add so much to this film and make it a very, very enjoyable film. And it also has sharp dialogue and some very suspenseful scenes. Whew! So much to love about this film. And it also explores themes of loyalty, identity, and corruption in the police and in the mob. And it's just a story that will just interest you from start to finish. Number 5, The Irishman. Of all the films on this list, this one is relatively the newest. I think it came out in 2020. And I remember when I saw this film, I told all my friends, you have to watch this film. That was how much I loved it. It's a gangster film that follows the story of real life gangster Frank Sheeran as he reflects on his life story and the things he did and the mistakes he made and his life, basically. And this film was just, whoa, a fantastic film. I mean, it's not number one on this list, but this film is a fantastic film. The way it explores the consequences of a life of crime was something that was just done in a brilliant way. You see this man as he's dealing with loneliness and regrets, and it's just something that just gets you. And when you see the things that he did when he was a gangster, the things that he did for the mob, is another thing that just blows your mind. This film and the way it explores gangsters was fantastic. The performances from Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci, whew, incredible. Seeing these guys that have been acting for so long coming back to play these kinds of roles at this age was just incredible. And for them to deliver those performances was something unimaginable, and they delivered a fantastic job. As well as Martin Scorsese directing this film. Man, there is nothing wrong with this film. If you watch this film, I am 1000% sure you are going to love it. Number 4, City of God. This one follows the story of some children that grew up in a very bad neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and how they get into a life of crime. And this film was so hard to watch. You see some images that you'll be like, whoa, I never thought I would see some shit like this in film. And it's something that just scars you. Like years after I've watched this film, there's still some images that are in my mind that just scar me if I just think about this film. And that just goes to show the greatness of it, the realism of it, and the ballsiness of it. The director of this film directs it in a way that just adds this realism to it. Like it is directed like a documentary, and because it's directed like a documentary, it has this realism to it and just makes you feel like what is happening in this film is actually happening. And I'm even scared to make a research if that is the kind of things that are happening in that country because of how this film scarred me. The performances from these actors, they are young actors, but their performances were fantastic. Like I was like, are these people really acting? Is this a documentary? What is going on? It is so good. The storytelling is fantastic. The brilliance of the acting and the direction just takes it to another level. And everything about this film, you want to see gangsters, you want to see how gangsters are formed, check this movie out. Whew, you are going to enjoy it, but it's definitely going to scar you. Number 3, The Godfather. This one is a succession story. It follows the story of Michael Corleone as he ascends to the position of Godfather after an attempted murder on his father. And this film, I remember when I saw it the first time, I did not get it because I was like, is this film not supposed to be about the Godfather? Why are we not even focusing on the Godfather? Because all I thought was Vito Corleone, the older man, was the Godfather. Not until the second time I watched it and I realized, oh, this film is not about Vito Corleone. It is about Michael Corleone, and just put a lot of things into perspective. It was like it connected all the dots in my mind. And when I understood that and I saw the storytelling of this film, it just clicked in my head and it was just brilliant. Performances from Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and some other actors that I can't remember is another thing that gives this film another level of greatness. And the storytelling, the script writing, the writing of this film, it is brilliant. Like when you understand what this film is about, everything makes sense and you're just intrigued and hooked by this story, and it doesn't let you go. Plus the direction of this film is another thing that just got me. There's some scenes that I directed some kind of way that I'm just like, whoa, this shit goes hard. And I was blown away by it, especially when you understand the context of the whole story. It just gives everything that you see on the screen so much meaning. and this film was fantastic. Number two, Reservoir Dogs. This one is a film by Quentin Tarantino and it follows the story of some gangsters that come together to commit a crime. And this image is an image from Reservoir Dogs. That should tell you how much I love this film. I love this so much. The dialogue of this film, I mean, it's a Quentin Tarantino film. You expect great dialogue, and the dialogue of this film is just fantastic. I watched this film a few days ago, and it feels so much funny now when I watch it. I mean, on the first watch, it might not be as funny, but when you know how everything pans out and how the characters end up, everything they say just has so much meaning, and it is just so hilarious watching these characters going through this situation. I mean, it's not a film that is made like a comedy, but I can't help but laugh because I just find those characters so enjoyable. The dialogue so charming and witty, and everything surrounding it is just brilliant. And the fact that this film was directed by a first-time director, Quentin Tarantino, his first film, and it was this brilliant, is another thing that just makes it so high on my list. And everything about this film, I might be partial to Quentin Tarantino because honestly, he's my favorite director. But everything about this film is brilliant. I loved every single moment of it. Number one, Goodfellas. This film follows the story of some Goodfellas. It follows the story of some gangsters, basically the rise and fall of these gangsters. And I like to call this movie the gangster film every gangster film wants to be like. When I watched this film, I was blown away. The way it explores organized crime and gangsters or something that was done in a very, very seductive way. You feel like you are being seduced into coming into this lifestyle. And that's something that was just a very, very ballsy move for the director. Like when you watch this film, you see how the gangsters act. They are like, they don't answer to anybody, and that thing can be very, very seducing. And the way the director chooses to tell the story, I mean, Martin Scorsese is a genius with telling these kinds of stories. It's just another thing that made me love this film so much. And the storytelling of it, oh man, the music that was used in it, the soundtrack of this film was just on another level. Like if I'm thinking about some scenes in this film, I think about these songs that we're playing with them, and it's just like a match made in heaven. It is so fantastic. The performances in this film from Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, whew, brilliant performances all around. Like there is nothing wrong with this film. This is another film that there is not a single thing wrong with it. I mean, that's the reason why it is number one on this list. I could be partial, but it is such a good film. Like 10 years from now, if people 10 years from now watch this film, they will still be hooked by it and they will love it so much. And if you are living in this day and age and you have not seen Goodfellas, my nigga, you have to check that shit out. You are going to absolutely love it. I don't know what more to say about this film. Just go check it out. You're welcome. So those are 10 gangster movies you should watch. What other gangster movies do you think should have been on this list? Comment below and let me know. If you watch this video up until now, please like, share, follow me for more contents like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.